So let's get after it. It's Wednesday, March the 15th, 2023. All excited. Can't even speak this morning. So let's make this quick. My name is Jay Clifton Payne. I present to you as your news side piece things you might not have heard. These are some news stories, the latest information, biggest news from the past day to present for you this morning to start your day off with in politics, innovation, current events, and pop culture. We're going to provide for you in just a few moments 8 news stories that were curated from the top 15 stories vetted by you. We went over 33 stories, I believe, over the course of the day yesterday, and you told us what were the top ones by your engagement, and we'll explain that in a bit why Miss Hudgens, Vanessa, is in our teaser graphic today, because well, we'll explain that in a bit. But we got her plus 7 other stories, plus birthdays and some today in history, and one last thing you might not have heard for this day. I'm really giddy about this day. We'll get to that in a minute as well. Stop by our main website, which is the Conversation Project, which is theconversationproject.com for more details about the Conversation Project. And let's go get into this thing we provide for you here, which is things you might have heard. As you said, 8 stories that were vetted by you, then curated for me to fit the parameters. We'll get to those as well. Story number 1 for this morning. Missing Texas teen found over 1,000 miles away in North Carolina outbuilding. A 13-year-old girl from Texas was found over 1,000 miles from her home in a locked outbuilding in North Carolina, authorities said. The teen was taken from her home by a 14-year-old man. And, 34-year-old man. Can't read this morning. That's definitely a difference between a 14-year-old and a 34-year-old. Essentially, they met online, and he basically groomed her to come with him, and that's what the hell this thing happened. Dallas Police Department found a video camera footage of a truck registered to an address in Davison County, North Carolina, and tracked it down to this stop to save this young lady. So we are definitely glad that this ordeal, at least this part of the ordeal, is over now. There was the moving past part, which will come through. We will give you more details and more updates on this story as they come up, and as you gauge them as conversational, we'll make sure we'll report them back to you. Let's move on to the second story for this morning. Buffalo Wild Wings sued by Chicago man because their wings are breast meat. Now, we've done this before. People are bitching and complaining and suing various people because of boneless wings. Various restaurants claim them as boneless wings because they're cooler than saying chicken nuggets or breast nuggets or whatever you want to call them, or chicken breast bites. But boneless wings comes with this sort of the side of a regular side of wings. It just happens. It flows off the tongue better, I guess. But while this is a very frivolous lawsuit, it is an actual legal standing. Calling something that it's not is a problem in some cases. So labeling something as wing meat, boneless wings, as assuming that they are wings or from the meat of the wings of a bird, when they're really just chopped up breast meat that's kind of run around and then dipped in flour, is a thing. That is what's going on. So while Buffalo Wild Wings says our wings are 0% buffalo, because there's no wings on buffalo, they also aren't wings of chicken either. This becomes a lawsuit. This becomes something that we'll talk about because it's silly, but you guys got into it. That's why we brought it here. The next story for the morning. Catch me if you can. Conman Frank Abagnale, I can never say it, Abagnale Jr. lied about his lifetime of lies, sources claim. Frank Abagnale Jr. Flew airplanes and robbed banks and forged paintings and was a con artist and did cybercrime later in his life, and then turned himself in, spent some time in jail, wrote a book about it, did a movie about it. Everybody talks about him because it's something cool. He's a little miffed because he's been put into a book by someone who says the con that Frank Abagnale did was all a lie. Basically, he didn't do any of it, or most of it was not done, at least not to the spectacular point that we turned into a movie with Leo DiCaprio. He's a bit miffed about this one, but the source claims that all of the confoundments are confounded. Literally, they're all made up. We shall see how this one plays out in the media and in the lives of Mr. Abagnale Jr. Our next story: Harvey Weinstein to be returned to New York after retrial on rape, sex assault charges canned. Now, Harvey Weinstein was pulled from New York jail sent to LA jail to hang out in LA jail for a little while they were dealing with some charges over there. Los Angeles prosecutors told the judge on Tuesday they would not retry Harvey Weinstein on rape and sexual assault charges involving two women. Weinstein's attorney said he maintains his innocence. So he maintains his innocence in here. He maintains his innocence in here. But he ain't going nowhere except back to New York and back to jail. He's not getting out of jail anytime soon. He's just not getting more time added on for this particular charge. Let's get this straight. Let's make sure we understand each other here. Harvey Weinstein is not being set free because they decided not to pull any charges. Harvey Weinstein has enough charges already on him and enough charges that are hanging in the wings that they can throw at him anytime they feel like it, that he ain't going nowhere anytime soon. So don't cry for anyone in this case. While there may not be particular justice in the case of these two women, and we'll, that all plays out as it will, there's overall cosmic justice that Harvey Weinstein ain't going nowhere. Want to make sure you understand that. He's being sent back to New York, not to his home, but to jail. Let's have another happy one here. Lindsay Lohan, not Lohan, Lohan, is pregnant, expecting first child with husband. Yay! Lohan wrote that her husband and her, now their life and is full of everything they ever could ever wanted. And she's the woman that everyone has always wanted to be and have an everyday life as it is. Because she's in love, she's married, she's having a baby, and she's coming back to acting. Of course, last Christmas there was Falling for Christmas in the Netflix movie, and more work coming up in the future. So it only took like 20 years, but Lindsay Lohan is on the right track and having a great life. And we're very glad for Lindsay Lohan. Hopefully it will stay that way. Congratulations. Oh, by the way, Garciel Barvo says, amazing that, the pregnancy. So a lot of love on social media from folks who love them some Lohan. Now, this next story, we teased this yesterday, and so we're going to go through a couple lines on this. Trump blames Mike Pence for Jan 6 violence for not going along with his coup attempt. Donald Trump blames Mike Pence for January 6 and the storming of the Capitol because he did not cheat. And because he did not cheat, the people who expect him to cheat wanted to bash his head in. That's essentially what happened. Donald Trump blamed Mike Pence for the violence that day in the U.S. Capitol because he didn't go along with his coup attempt to force Pence to reject the votes from certain key states and declare Trump a winner. Trump's new comments came in response to Pence's remarks that Trump's words and deeds had greatly gotten his family, had almost gotten his family killed, or nearly gotten his family killed. Of course, greatly harmed America. Pence said that, not a direct quote, but a statement is that history will hold Trump accountable. Meanwhile, a lot of us here right now are wondering why a court can't hold him accountable. Well, I guess we may not see that, but history supposedly will hold him accountable. And that, of course, depends on who's writing history. And the way things are going right now, history will not hold him accountable because they're going to write him fairly favorable. Because history. Meanwhile, Russian fighters collide with U.S. drone, force it down close to Ukraine. A U.S. drone was flying near the Baltic Seas, near Ukraine, near in the areas around there. And some Russian fighters came to it, just kind of looking at it, being funny, poking around with it, and essentially bumped it to damage it and made the U.S. come down. Now, for about the span of 20 minutes, people were wondering what the hell this actually meant. And for, it's like, okay, we're just going to back away and let this thing happen. It happened, and so we're reporting on it. And what we're trying to find out was with the Russians basically just being silly, guys up there, oh, check out the drone, let's see what we can do with it. Or did Putin buzz the guy and say, hey, hit the thing. You must hit that thing, knock it down. We don't really know the answer to that question, whether it was malicious, intentional, or just sort of, some guy goofing off playing Top Gun in the sky. But it was a thing for about 20 minutes where we were a bit unsure. The State Department says everything is fine, and now reconnaissance over the Black Sea has returned due to time and getting other planes in the air. And now, Vanessa Hudgens, she urges fans to only talk about peace after Austin Butler run-in. Now, yesterday was a slow day in responses, but let me tell you something. This story right here got 33% of all the responses, a third, 33.37 to be exact, or 33. Literally a third of all the responses that we had in yesterday's polling came from this story. And all it is was Vanessa Hudgens and Austin Butler avoided each other at the Oscars. Butler kind of glanced over and faked like he looked, and Hudgens looked at her phone while they walked past. They're not talking to each other, and that's it. Vanessa Hudgens warns her fans to take a page from Malaya Yousafzai's, I knew I was going to butcher that, Yousafzai's book following her awkward run-in with Austin Butler, and just talk about peace. None of them have really commented on the actual interaction, but it is one of those things. In fact, what's weird about it is Butler's been talking all award season about being pushed to take the role of Elvis by someone he loved, a girlfriend, someone he cared about, but isn't saying that girlfriend's name because it's Vanessa Hudgens. When you run into your boyfriend, look at your phone. Pretend he's not there. Don't fight in front of the Oscars, as of course Chris Rock has famously said. Don't fight in front of white people. Apparently, that's what they're doing here. Let's go to our teaser story for today, which could be a story we talk about tomorrow. If you deem this one worthy of the chit chat, go to our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/This Is the Conversation Project. And twitter.com/th_conversation, and just like, love, hate, share, get engaged with the story. The more you engage with the story, the better chance we get to talk about it. That's why we're talking about Vanessa Hudgens. The only reason why I talk about Vanessa Hudgens, the only reason why we're talking about Vanessa Hudgens is that I put it into the feed and you guys engage with it big time. Will we do the same for this one? Let's see. The story reads, or the headline at least reads, caffeine may reduce body fat and risk of type 2 diabetes, studies suggest. If you're not watching on video, I am raising my mug of coffee, my caffeine. Apparently, this will cure my diabetes and make me skinny, says the study. We will see about that, but will we talk about that is up to you. As we say, follow us on our feeds, Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/This Is a Conversation Project, and twitter.com/th_conversation. It's all that simple. Now, we're going to go to our main sponsor for the day, and that is Zenni Optical. Stop by our website, our links for sponsors, and visit all of our main video sponsors and our podcast sponsors and see if they can take good care of you. They are affiliate links, so it costs you nothing extra, but anytime you affiliate with them, hang out with them, buy from them, we get a small cut back from a percentage of what's going on there to keep things going on here. Zenni Optical will take good care of you because you're not going to pay a lot of money anyway. They have very reasonably, that means low, that means kind of cheap price glasses that aren't cheap glasses. They're great lenses, they're great frames, and they have glasses for all shapes, sizes, and all sorts of fashion values for men, women, and children. Check them out today at thisisaconversationproject.com/Zenni. And Zenni Optical will take good care of you. They have great frames from blue blocker type lenses to transitions type lenses to sport like goggle lenses and sunglasses. I have sunglasses. I have regular glasses. I've been buying from Zenni Optical for many, many years. They've taken care of me before they were an affiliate, and now they take good care of you. Yes, I have pushed those other glasses people before, but I didn't know Zenni had an affiliate. Honestly, I buy from Zenni. I don't want to have to pay $100 just to look at 6 pairs of glasses. I want my pair of glasses. I want them done right the first time, and most times that's done that way. And if it's not, you can send them back and get your money back. How about that? Check it out at thisisaconversationproject.com/Zenni for Zenni Optical. Let's talk about the Conversation Project very quickly. The Conversation Project homed his living it be on the website thisisaconversationproject.com. What happens with the Conversation Project? We have a lot of things going on there. We have this thing that I'm doing right now live as I'm speaking to you, and it's as a video, but we chop it up and turn it into a podcast, turn it into shorts and clips and things on the TikTok, turn it into a replay video and do things with that. On the weekends, we give you the weekly wrap up, where we give you the database top stories based on literally the numbers. So Vanessa Hudgens, she's in the top because she had the numbers. What else stories did you guys say were the tops, and not were me trying to say, well, this is a more smarter story than these folks? We'll talk about that. We have other podcasts there as well, and it acts on as a hub of my More Better Media company. This month, March, we're doing a whole lot of begging because we have to. We're looking to get $200 of additional revenue monthly and have that shored up by the end of the month. We want you to help us out by seeing if we're worthy of your praise and helping out this. Not a word, but I just said it. Go to thisistheconversationproject.com/partnerships, or just go to the website, click on partnerships. It's the same thing. And if there's value in what you're getting from us, help us out, keep things going. We are looking for $200 of additional revenue ongoing. So we're not looking for a big check this month, but a bunch of small checks month after month after month to hire in a few more people to do some work, some sidebar work, and some more gear to make things a little bit happier, a little bit nicer, make things look a little better here on the program. If you deem us worthy, then please, please, please check it out and let me know. Oh, now it's time to get it on. It's the fun part now. Let's get to today things, starting off with birthdays on March 15th. Sly Stone of Sly and the Family Stone. He is still out there, oddly enough, still doing music in a weird way and just kind of showing up where he wants to, more like the Phantom of the Opera. He kind of shows up in the studio, plays some keys, and then goes away with a puff of smoke, probably. 80 years old on the day. Dee Snider, Twisted Sister, one of the most famous and most prolific transvestites of the 80s. Yes, I said transvestite because he says he was a transvestite. 68 years old on the day. I was a big fan of Twisted Sister in the day. It was because, that's all MTV was playing at the time, and I was into that stuff. It was there. And the beautiful, the talented, the ingenious, and the currently starring in Searching for Mexico, Eva Longoria, turning 48 years old on the day. And all three of these people are watching their backs because today, my friends, it's the Ides of March. What is the Ides of March, you say? Well, let's go back to history. We get an extra bit of history on the day, but we go into what the Ides of March is. Let's go back to the year. That was spectacular. Let's go back to the year 44 BC, where Julius Caesar, the dictator of the Roman Republic, was stabbed to death by Marcus Julius Brutus. Decimus Julius Brutus and several other Roman senators, not all named Brutus, on the Ides of March, the 15th of March. That's all it means. 15th, Ides is 15th, March is a day. And so today brings about the saying from way back in 44 BC, beware the Ides of March. It also gives me a chance to throw out an extra birthday shout out to my boy, Joe Evers, my boy Butt Naked from back in the day, because his day, it is Joe Evers' day, but it's also, of course, the Ides of March. Watch your back, people. Beware the Ides of March. So the actual 3 pieces of history that we actually picked for the day include these. In 207, the year 270, St. Nicholas was born, remembered for his role in bringing about apparent miracles and for his frequent secret bestowment of gifts. This 4th century saint inspired the modern Santa Claus character traditionally associated with the Christmas holiday. Wait, what? Huh? There is no Santa? What? He is regarded as the patron saint not only of children, students, and seamen, which is kind of odd, but also a brewery and pawn shop owners and thieves who regret their crimes. Saint Nicholas is the patron saint of thieves and pawn shop owners. Didn't know that. There you go. In 1972, The Godfather had its premiere. The note says the 54th anniversary was 2017. Guess what? The 50th anniversary was last year. So why this old information was there and why I didn't clean it out, I'm not sure. But The Godfather, the original movie, I'm going to make you an offer I can't refuse. 1972. Old, but classic. And in 2018, toy chain Toys R Us announced it would close all its stores after filing for bankruptcy. 2023, Toys R Us is back in a sense. It's basically not a toy store, or it's a toy store, but it's a brand that lives inside of another department store because brands are cheap and you can do things with them that way. Toys R Us back in a limited capacity. The toy business not back quite the way they'd like it to be. And finally, one more thing you might have heard. Researchers found that the power of jealousy depends on how tall you are. Researchers asked Dutch and Spanish men and women to rate their jealousy, how jealous they have felt, and to list the qualities in a romantic competitor that were most likely to make ill at ease. Men generally felt most nervous about attractive, rich, and strong rivals. But these feelings were increasingly relaxed the taller they were themselves. The more vertically challenged the man, the greater his feelings for jealousy. For women, what counted most in jealousy was the rival's looks and charm. But these feelings were less intense if the woman herself was of average height. So, taller people are less jealous because of the perception that taller people will be more successful in the romantic arts. How about them apples? No apples for today, just intrigue and paranoia for the Ides of March. It's Wednesday, March 15, 2023. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Things You Might Have Heard. Make sure you keep an eye on who's on your left and who's on your right and who may be behind you. And I'm not suggesting you go packing today, but just be a little bit careful because things tend to happen on a day like this. I want to remind you to stay hydrated, stay limber, and stay on task for all the grand, awesome, stupendous, and non-murderous things that you're meant to do today. Please don't murder anybody today. That's not today, please. And enjoy yourself on this Wednesday. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful Wednesday. Still some rain, still some heavy snow, and some weather issues going on in various parts of the nation. So hopefully you're working through those okay. Otherwise, enjoy your day. Enjoy your Wednesday. We'll be back to this again, hopefully with more fun and less stabby murder thoughts in our minds tomorrow.